What if I told you that one family rose from total obscurity to quietly influence America's oil, banks, education system, medicine, politics, and even parts of the US government without ever being elected to anything? Our story begins with one man, John D. Rockefeller, a bookkeeper from Cleveland who believed in two things: ruthless efficiency, absolute control. By age 16, he was already obsessed with tracking every penny he earned in a notebook. By 30, he entered the oil business, and before he turned 40, he built Standard Oil, the largest monopoly the world had ever seen. At its peak, Standard Oil controlled over 90% of America's oil supply, pipelines, railroads, and refineries. Some historians say Rockefeller was the richest human in modern history, worth over $400 billion in today's money. But this isn't just a story about money. It's about power and what Rockefeller did with it. Because once he controlled the country's fuel, he moved on to controlling something far more valuable: people. Rockefeller wasn't just wealthy, he was strategic. Some critics called his methods cutthroat. Rockefeller called them good business. He bought out competitors, undercut prices, made secret deals with railroads, created a maze of companies all controlled by him, and eventually the US government intervened. In 1911, Standard Oil was broken up into 34 companies, including names like Exxon, Mobil, Chevron, and more. But here's the twist. Rockefeller didn't lose power. He actually became even richer because he owned huge shares of every new company. So when Standard Oil split apart, his influence multiplied. This moment marks what many researchers describe as the shift from Rockefeller's industrial power to institutional power, a shift that would reshape America for the next century. Rockefeller never needed to run for office. His money did the talking. Through massive donations, he funded politicians, universities, research groups, think tanks, and foundations. These weren't random acts of charity. They were investments in influence. Even the Federal Reserve has conspiracy theories attached to Rockefeller and the Morgan family. Those claims are unproven. But critics argue that early banking elites helped shape the Federal Reserve to protect their own wealth. What is documented is Rockefeller money influencing US tax policy, foreign oil decisions, political allies, economic frameworks, and corporate power structures. Politicians came and went, but Rockefeller influence stayed. And yet, their biggest impact wasn't oil. It wasn't banking. It was something far more personal, something that touches every single American today: education. In the early 1900s, John D. Rockefeller created the General Education Board, pouring what would amount to billions of dollars today into reshaping the American school system. The stated goal was simple: to modernize and unify education across the United States. But critics argue there may have been a deeper motive. They claim these reforms helped create a standardized and obedient industrial workforce. During this period, American education began to shift towards strict schedules, memorization, standardized testing, and job training, often at the expense of creativity and independent thinking. Was this intentional? Historians still debate that question. But one fact is undeniable. Rockefeller-funded institutions played a major role in shaping the modern US education system. And even today, Rockefeller foundations continue to influence schools and universities across the country. And their influence didn't stop there, because next, they reshaped something even more powerful: medicine. Few people realize just how deeply the Rockefeller family shaped modern Western medicine. In the early 1900s, medicine in the United States was fragmented. Herbal medicine, homeopathy, naturopathy, and early pharmaceutical treatments all existed side by side, competing for legitimacy. John D. Rockefeller, whose wealth was closely tied to petrochemicals, invested heavily in pharmaceutical research. Through philanthropic funding, the Rockefeller Foundation supported major reforms in medical education, most notably the Flexner Report. The Flexner Report recommended closing many medical schools, especially those focused on alternative approaches. As a result, homeopathic and herbal institutions declined. Pharmaceutical medicine rose to dominance. Hospitals became more centralized, and medical licensing was standardized. Some critics argue these changes were driven by profit and control. While that debate continues, what is clearly documented is this: the Rockefeller Foundation fundamentally reshaped medical universities, public health systems, research institutions, and global health organizations, including early support for what would later become the World Health Organization. The impact of this period was so significant that it is often referred to as the Rockefeller Medical Revolution. And then, there are the conspiracies. Over the years, the Rockefeller name has been linked to several powerful organizations: the Council on Foreign Relations, the Bilderberg Group, the Trilateral Commission, the United Nations, and global finance networks. Some people claim the Rockefellers helped shape a globalist agenda, a coordinated international web of influence. Others argue these claims are exaggerated or misunderstood. Here's what is true. The Rockefellers did play major roles in founding and funding many global organizations. Whether you see that as helpful or as powerful is up to you. So, did one family take over America? They didn't run for office. They didn't win elections. They didn't hold government positions. But through oil, banking, education, medicine, philanthropy, global institutions, the Rockefeller influence shaped America more than almost any family in modern history. Some call them visionaries, others call them masterminds, and some say they're the most powerful family America never voted for. But here's the real question. Is this simply the story of ambition and impact, or is something much more powerful happening behind the scenes? You decide.